So guys, what's going on? Hope you guys are safe, keeping well. So guys, let's get into it. Can a 41-year-old Manny Pacquiao defeat Errol Spence Jr.? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Now here's my take on it. My take on it is what has been my take on it about Manny Pacquiao for so many years. You know, people say Manny Pacquiao's finished, Manny Pacquiao's at the end of the road, and then Manny Pacquiao comes back and shocks us all. Manny Pacquiao is somebody that you just can't write off. Manny Pacquiao is somebody that you just don't know when he's finished. You just don't know when he's done. Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao. And I just don't think that, you can write Manny Pacquiao off. I don't think anyone can write Manny Pacquiao off. Manny Pacquiao is a living legend. And there's a reason why he's achieved so much in the game. He lives the life. He dedicates himself to the sport of boxing, and he's been doing that for what, 20 plus years. The guy's a phenomenon. He's a phenomenon, and the fact that he beat Keith Thurman. And listen, I know people are gonna say, well, Keith Thurman was past it, this, that. Keith Thurman was undefeated, right, at the time. Yeah, he might have been coming up a sloppy performance against Lopez. But Pacquiao did him. Pacquiao, a big true welterweight, Pacquiao ended up doing him. And people may say, well, Errol Spence is better than Keith Thurman. I'll give you that. I feel Errol Spence is better than Keith Thurman. But Manny Pacquiao, he's got fast hands. He's still got fast feet. And that could be a big, big problem for Errol Spence. Errol Spence Jr. is definitely the truth. Errol Spence Jr. is definitely an exceptional talent. But Errol Spence Jr. hasn't been in the ring with the great Manny Pacquiao. And we have to say, the great Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is great. Manny Pacquiao is one of the best fighters ever. Ever. Period. He's one of the best fighters ever. And people may think that I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan. That's why I'm saying I am a Manny Pacquiao fan. And we're all Manny Pacquiao fans. Because Manny Pacquiao is a legend. You can easily make an argument for being a top 5 greatest fighter of all time. You can easily make an argument for the top 10 greatest fighter of all time. You can easily make an argument for being the greatest fighter of all time. 8 division world champion, a guy that's moved up more weight divisions than any other fighter. And been successful at every single weight class he's operated at. Let's get that out there. Been successful at every single weight class. Been the lineal champion in majority of those weight classes. So I would never write Manny Pacquiao off against Errol Spence, because I know what Manny Pacquiao brings to the table. I know what Manny Pacquiao can do even at this age. I know Manny Pacquiao's chin is great. I know Manny Pacquiao's speed is on another level. And Manny Pacquiao is somebody that just simply cannot be overlooked. He just cannot be overlooked. Errol Spence now has advantages. He's taller. He's fast. He's nowhere near as fast as Manny, but I think he's got a very good boxing brain. I think he's got a great ring IQ. His movement around the ring is good. But again, Manny Pacquiao can puzzle you with that speed. That speed is different level. Compared to Garcia, Manny Pacquiao is just so much quicker. His hand speed, the way he put his punches together is just on another level. So honestly, I think it's the fight to make. I think Pacquiao Spence is an unbelievable fight. I've always said that I would have preferred to see. Spence fight Crawford, and the winner fights Pacquiao for the undisputed title. So it gives Manny Pacquiao at the end of his career a chance to become an undisputed champion. But I don't feel it's going to turn out that way. I think if Pacquiao wants to become undisputed, he may have to do it the hard way by fighting both guys, which is ridiculous at his age. But I do still give Manny Pacquiao a chance in that fight against Spence. Now, I do think Spence is a favourite, and I do think he's a substantial favourite. I just don't think you can write Manny Pacquiao off, and I refuse to do it. I think Manny Pacquiao's proved us wrong too many times where we thought he was finished and he came back and won a fight that we didn't think he was capable of winning. So I just don't think you can write Manny Pacquiao off. I don't think Manny Pacquiao is somebody that can be wrote off. I think most people thought he would lose to Thurman. He shocked us and he beat Thurman. I just don't think we can say that he loses to Errol Spence. I think Errol Spence would be the substantial favourite, and rightfully so. He's a guy in his prime. He's very good. He's young. He's fresh. He's tall. He's got the physical advantages over Manny. and he's in his prime. So I think those are obviously clear advantages that are going in Errol Spence's favor. But Manny Pacquiao's got a lot of experience. He's been at this level many times before. He's fought better fighters than Errol Spence, in my opinion. And I feel that I feel that Manny Pacquiao is a guy that rises to the occasion time and time again. And I feel that this would definitely bring the best out of Manny, because Manny would want to prove a lot of people wrong that he can still beat a young, big welterweight. And Manny Pacquiao thrives of these challenges. Manny Pacquiao thrived of the fact that people thought he was too old and Thurman would steamroll him. Manny Pacquiao thrives of that. And that's what makes me think that Manny Pacquiao would thrive of fighting Errol Spence, because I think Manny Pacquiao would think, okay, these people think I can't beat him, I'll show them. They thought Cotto was too big. They thought Margarito was too big. And now they're saying that Errol Spence is too big, too fresh, too young in his prime, and I'm not. And Manny Pacquiao, I feel, gets a buzz out of that and wants to prove people wrong. He wants to go in there and prove and show that he's the best in the world. So you've got to commend that. You've got to respect that. You've got to give Manny a lot of credit, because this guy, time and time again, fights the best after fighting the best after the best. And really, the only two guys that you would say he's an underdog against in the division is Crawford and Spence. He would still, in my opinion, be favorite against everybody else in the welterweight division, and that's crazy when you think about it. That's crazy at his age and his late age. To say he would be an underdog only against two of the top 5 pound for pound fighters out there right now, is crazy. And there's still debate, and there's still a lot of people thinking that he can beat those guys at 41 years of age, way past his prime. I think we'll all agree to the fact that Manny Pacquiao in his prime would destroy Crawford and Errol Spence. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think they would stand any chance against the great Manny Pacquiao in his prime. We're still debating whether Manny could do it now. There's many people that think Manny Pacquiao could beat Spence now. There's many people that think Manny Pacquiao could beat Terence Crawford now. So what would it have been like 4 or 5 years ago with Manny in his prime? I just don't see how. I don't see how they would beat him. I don't. And listen, I like Errol Spence. I like Terence Crawford, but Manny Pacquiao was something else in his prime. I think we all have to agree he was something else. He was definitely a different type of cat. He was definitely a different level of fighter, Pacquiao. So, to be honest with you, I don't see these being easy fights for Errol or Terence Crawford. I think Manny Pacquiao is the truth, and I've said it all along that Manny Pacquiao is one of my favorite fighters. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time, and I genuinely do believe that fight between him and Errol Spence would be a very good competitive fight. Of course, I would lean towards Spence, but again, it's Pacquiao, man. Don't write him off at your own peril. Let's be honest. All those people that said that, thought that Manny would lose against Thurman. Most of you thought that he would lose against Thurman. Be honest. A lot of you thought he would lose against Thurman. It didn't work out, did it? How many people before the fight between Thurman and Pacquiao thought that Pacquiao would lose to Thurman? And now they're all saying, well, Thurman was washed up. But yet Pacquiao's 40 years of age when he fought Thurman. He wasn't washed up. Right. But Thurman, who's in his 30s, who's, had a tough fight in his previous fight, we were coming off injuries and stuff, yes, was washed up. But yeah, a 40-year-old is not washed up. What are they going to say if he beats us? Here's the thing. I think if Manny Pacquiao beats a Spence or Crawford, where does he rank in history? Honestly, I think you could potentially just say he's the greatest. You could potentially, if he beats a Spence or Crawford, where would you guys rank him? Because I'd rank him right at the top. For me, and people may not like this, I think he'll definitely be ranked. In my books, he'd be ranked greater than Floyd. Even though Floyd Mayweather beat him, just because of the fact that Spence and Crawford are in their prime right now, and Pacquiao's 41. If he was to beat one of them, I'm talking all time, like top 3, number 1. Like, this guy's got a case. He's got a case for being number 1, because that would be an outstanding achievement. And it's not beyond his realm. It's not beyond imagination that Pacquiao beats one of them. It's not. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Because like I said, he was an underdog against Thurman. People thought he would lose against Thurman. And he came and proved us all wrong. So what makes us think that he's going to be any different now? You know, I think Manny Pacquiao is still a legitimate guy in the 147-pound division. He's still a top fighter. He's still, in my opinion, the biggest name. He's the money fight for everyone in the 147-pound division. You know, so I think the Pacquiao fight is very intriguing. I think Manny Pacquiao is still a force to be reckoned with in the welterweight division without question. And I think if anyone's sleeping on Pacquiao, thinking that, you know, Crawford and Spence will just walk through him, I think it's nonsense. I do. I've had people come at me because I've said that I don't think Spence and Crawford will walk through him. I think it's tough fights for them. You know, I do believe that. I do believe that Pacquiao is still a dangerous fight for Spence and Crawford. And I think we shouldn't. I think all the fans, hardcore fans, should know by now that writing Manny Pacquiao off is stupid, because Manny Pacquiao is a force in boxing. He's a force, man. He's an unbelievable fighter. So I wouldn't write Pacquiao off at all. Even at this age, even at this old age, I wouldn't write him off. You know, so it would definitely be an uphill battle and an uphill task, but it's definitely not out of his grasp. It's definitely not out of his grasp. And it wouldn't shock me if he pulls it off. It wouldn't, because I know what Manny Pacquiao has done in the sport. I know how good Manny Pacquiao is. So yeah, I love it. I'd love to see him fight Spence or Crawford, if I'm honest with you. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Make sure to smash that like button. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.